अस्सलाम वालेकुम लर्नर्स। आज की वीडियो में आपके साथ शेयर करने जा रहा हूँ रिसर्च टॉपिक्स रिलेटेड टू एचआरएम फील्ड। अगर आपने मेरा चैनल अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो सब्सक्राइब करें और साथ दिए गए बेल आइकन को लाजमी प्रेस करें। लर्नर्स, आप आज की वीडियो में लर्न करेंगे अबाउट एचआरएम रिसर्च एरियाज, एचआरएम टॉपिक्स फॉर रिसर्च, यूनिक एचआरएम टॉपिक्स एंड एचआरएम एरियाज ऑफ इंटरेस्ट। लर्नर्स, पहला टॉपिक जो आपको बताने जा रहा हूँ वो है impact of a strong performance management process on teacher performance in educational institutions। ये टॉपिक है मेजर परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट से रिलेटेड। ठीक है, आप इसमें परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट प्रैक्टिस भी ऐड कर सकते हैं और प्रोसेस का भी इम्पैक्ट कर सकते हैं ऑन एम्प्लॉय परफॉर्मेंस। नेक्स्ट टॉपिक जो हमारे पास है या फिर ब्रॉड टॉपिक है, ये है रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल जस्टिस, ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल आइडेंटिफिकेशन एंड जॉब इन्वॉल्वमेंट, with mediating role of psychological need satisfaction and the moderating role of person organization fit among employees working in different organizations. Next topic is impact of psychological meaningfulness on working people in different types of organizations. Next is impact of work rule and negativity workplace behavior on employees performance in firms. Next topic is impact of performance management process on employee performance in organizations. Next, impact of exploration behavior on employee innovative performance. Next is impact of exploitation behavior on employee innovative performance. Next is impact of negative workplace behavior on employee performance. Then there is impact of workplace incivility on employees' productivity. Next is impact of non-job related gossip on working people in organizations. Next is the effect of employee engagement on organizational performance through mediating role of job satisfaction. Next is the effectiveness of the use of multiple performance measures, the influence of organizational contingencies. Next is relationship, intellectual capital, knowledge management and social capital within the IT sector. Next is evaluating the three dimensions of work engagement in social security. Next is the relationship between job satisfaction, job performance and employee engagement. Next is the impact of human resource management practices, organizational culture, organizational innovation and knowledge management on organizational performance. Next is impact of work-life happiness at work on employee performance. Next is the relationship between the happiness of a worker and product productivity in the workplace. Next is an integrated model of job involvement, job satisfaction and organizational commitment. Next is the role of employees empowerment as an intermediary variable between knowledge management and information systems on employees' performance. Next is the role of knowledge management process and intellectual capital as intermediary variables between knowledge management, infrastructure and organizational performance. Next is impact of information systems on innovation, product innovation, process innovation and etc. Next is impact of work-life balance, happiness at work on employee performance. Next is impact of employee engagement on organizational performance through mediating role of job satisfaction. Next is investigating the impact of communication satisfaction on organizational commitment. Next is effect of human resource management practices on organizational commitment in pharmaceutical sector. Next is relation of work-life balance, work-family conflict and family-work conflict with the employee performance, moderating role of job satisfaction. Next is relationship between happiness, overtime, sick leave and intention to stay or leave. Next is an extension into the role of relationship commitment on implementation of green banking with moderating influence of responsible leadership characteristics. Next is linking transformational leadership to turnover intention in the public sector The influences of engagement, effective commitment, and psychological climate. Next is high performance work systems, employee well being, and job involvement. Next is the relationship between autonomy, workload, work life balance, and job performance among teaching faculty. Next is workplace happiness, work engagement, career satisfaction, and subjective well holding relationship. Next is the role of corporate social responsibility or CSR in enhancing firm performance from the perspective of employees. Next is the role of organizational culture in enhancing the human capital applied study on the social security corporation. Next is the relationship among human resource management practices, organizational commitment, and knowledge management process. Next is the effect of work environment, leadership style, and organizational culture towards job satisfaction and its implication towards employee performance. Next is the influence of organizational justice on employee performance, the mediating effect of effective commitment. Next is becoming green, becoming leaders, identity, narratives in sustainability, leadership development. Next is green human resource management, a framework for sustainable or organizational development in an emerging economy. Next is the impact of authentic leadership on organizational citizenship behavior or OCB and the mediating role of CSR. Next is digitalization in organizations and workers' subjective well-being contingency perspective. Next is how responsible leadership motivates employees to encourage in organizational citizenship behavior or OCB for environment, a double mediation model. Next is happiness, work engagement, and organizational commitment of support staff at our tertiary education institutions. Next is factors affecting employee performance. Next is authentic leadership and creativity, the mediating role of happiness. Next is work-life balance. How can we help female employees working in organizations? Work and family role adjustment of different types of global professionals, scale development and validation. Next is relation of work-life balance, work-family conflict and family-work conflict with employees' performance with moderating role of job satisfaction. Impact of employee exploration on task performance, the moderating influence of organizational competitive orientation. Next topic is examined how job control relates to working overtime and stress with work centrality and organizational constraints. Next is impact of job control on overtime and stress. Next is influence of social relationships on overtime of a working employee. Next is impact of overtime, organizational constraints, and work centrality on the degree of job control. Next is overqualification and subjective well-being at work, the moderating role of job autonomy and culture in multinational firms. Next is relationships between overtime and psychological health in high and low reward jobs. Next, work-based resources as moderators of relationship between work hours and satisfaction with work-family balance. Next is the effect of values, work centrality, and organizational commitment on OCB. Next is the impact of work time arrangements on fatigue and well-being of junior managers. Next is moderators of the relationship between long work hours and health. Next is overqualification and subjective well-being at work, the moderating role of job autonomy and culture in international firms. Next is the push and pull of work, about the difference between workaholism and work engagement in organizations. Next is the interaction between the other three and big five personality traits on job stress. Next is flexible work arrangements, job satisfaction and turnover intentions with mediating role of work to family enrichment. Next is the trickle down of work engagement from leader to follower, the roles of optimism and self-efficiency. Next is impact of green HR practices on employee performance, impact of environmental management on employee performance. Next is impact of green reward, green motivation, green pay, green reward, green training and employee commitment towards organizations. Next is impact of green reward, motivation, green pay and green training on employee performance. Next is impact of green reward, green motivation, green pay, green training and employee organization performance. Next is the trickle down of work engagement from leader to follower, the roles of optimism and self-efficacy. Next topic is impact of new leadership styles on employees' performance, impact of new leadership styles on organizational performance, impact of workplace emotions on employee innovative performance. Next is impact of workplace emotions in way on employee innovative behavior or innovative performance, impact of workplace emotion types on employee performance, impact of work centrality and organizational constraints on general stress, job control significantly moderated the relationship between organizational constraints and general stress. Next topic is improving environmental performance through unit level organizational citizenship behaviors for the environment. Next is sustainability as a dynamic organizational capability, a systematic review and a future agenda towards sustainable transition. Next is effects of green HR practices on employee workplace green behavior, the role of psychological green climate and employee green values. Next is translating stakeholder pressures into environmental performance with the mediating role of green HRM practices. Next is education and gender-based differences in employee motivation. Next is assessing green HRM practices in manufacturing sector. Next is environmental training and environmental management maturity of companies with ISO 14001. Next is the continuous mediating effects of green HRM on employees' green passion through transformational leadership and green creativity. Next is content versus process in HRM performance relationship. Next is the effect of green HRM management on employees, eco-friendly behavior and environmental performance. Next is sustainable development, the role of future orientation, environment commitment and employee training. Next is employees' green recovery performance, the roles of green HR practices and serving culture. Next topic is impact of new leadership styles on employee performance. CSR activities and consumer loyalty, the effect of type of publicizing medium, access effect of transformational leadership style and management control system on managerial performance, access pro-environmental behavior at work, construct validity and determinants. Next is enhancing the organizational citizenship behavior for the environment, the roles of green training and organizational culture. Next is green human resource management practices influence organizational citizenship behavior or OCB. Next topic is values, environmental concerns and economic concerns relationship as predators of enterprise environmental responsiveness. Next is linking corporate policy and supervisory support with environmental citizenship behavior with the role of employee environmental beliefs and commitment. Next is green HRM management research in emergence, review and future directions. Next is promoting employees pro-environmental behavior through green HRM resource management practices in construction sector. Next is green HRM management, a proposed model in the context of manufacturing sector. Next is green HRM management practices, scale development and validity. Next is CSR and overview and new research directions. Next is impact of green HRM resource management and green supply chain management practices on sustainable performance. Next is HRM practices used to promote pro-environmental behavior exploring role of green management in enhancing organizational efficiency in oil industry, linking perceived corporate environmental policies and employees eco initiatives, the influence of perceived organizational support and psychological contract breach. Next is the influence of servant leadership on an organizational serving driven capabilities in a cooperative bank environment or in banking sector, or it can be on any different sector. Next is the impact of employee job satisfaction and commitment on customer perceived value and organizational perspective. The effects of relationship bonds on bank employees, psychological responses, and boundary spanning behaviors. Next is psychological hazards and work engagement in banking sector with the moderating role of psychological safety climate. So learners, this was today's video. I hope आपको वीडियो अच्छी लगी होगी. अगर वीडियो अच्छी लगी है तो उसको लाइक करें, अगर नहीं अच्छी लगी तो उसको डिसलाइक करें और मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और प्रेस बेल बटन ताकि आपको मेरी आने वाली वीडियोस मिल सकें लेटेस्ट. और इस वीडियो को शेयर करें इसमें देर साथ इसको रिसर्च HRM से रिलेटेड टॉपिक्स ढूंढने में प्रॉब्लम हो रही है ताकि. सो थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग.